What drives someone to destroy a stranger's tribute, to carve cruelty into a symbol of love? In the quiet town of Willow Creek, where maple trees whispered secrets and the park was a sanctuary of memories, a single act of vandalism sparked a chain of events that would unravel lives. The memorial bench for my grandmother, Eleanor, sat under the oldest oak, its brass plaque gleaming with her name and the words, "Forever in our hearts." It was a place where I found solace, where families picnicked, and where old friends shared stories. But one morning, that sacred space was violated, and the person responsible had no idea the storm they'd unleashed. I'm Lila Carter, a high school art teacher with a knack for seeing beauty in the mundane. My grandmother raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 6. Her laughter, her stories, her warm hands guiding mine as we baked cookies, these were the threads of my childhood. When she passed 2 years ago, I poured my grief into raising funds for that bench. It wasn't just a seat. It was her legacy, a place for anyone to rest and feel her kindness. So, when I arrived at the park that crisp October morning and saw the bench defaced, my heart shattered. The plaque was scratched beyond recognition. The words "forever in our hearts," marred with jagged lines and crude insults. Spray paint streaked the wood in angry red slashes. I knelt beside it, tears blurring my vision, tracing the scars with trembling fingers. Who could do this? The park was empty, save for a jogger in the distance and a woman walking her dog. I snapped photos, my hands shaking, and called my sister, Nora, a criminal attorney with a reputation for being as fierce as she was brilliant. Nora arrived within the hour, her tailored suit a stark contrast to the park's soft greens. "Lila, we'll find who did this," she said, her voice steady but her eyes blazing. She examined the bench, noting the precision of the scratches, the deliberate cruelty. "This wasn't random," she muttered. "This was personal." I couldn't fathom why anyone would target Grandma's bench. She'd been the heart of Willow Creek, volunteering at the library, organizing food drives, always with a smile. But Nora's instincts were razor-sharp, and I trusted her. The park had a single security camera near the entrance, and Nora pulled strings to get the footage. We sat in her office that evening, sifting through grainy images. At 2:17 a.m., a figure emerged, a woman, mid-40s, with a sharp bob and a purposeful stride. She carried a can of spray paint and a knife. Her face was clear under the streetlight. Karen Mitchell, the town's self-appointed watchdog, known for her rants at council meetings about park misuse and wasted funds. She'd once complained that memorial benches were clutter and a drain on taxpayer money. I remembered her glaring at me during the bench's dedication ceremony. Her lips pursed like she'd swallowed a lemon. "Why would she do this?" I asked, my voice cracking. Nora leaned back, her fingers steepled. "People like Karen thrive on control." She probably saw Grandma's bench as a challenge to her authority, a symbol she couldn't dictate. Nora's plan was simple: confront Karen, gather evidence, and build a case for vandalism and emotional distress. But I wanted answers, not just justice. I needed to know why she'd desecrated something so pure. The next day, I spotted Karen at the local coffee shop, her voice loud as she complained about the barista's latte art. I approached, my heart pounding. "Karen, we need to talk about the bench." Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't flinch. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, sipping her coffee with infuriating calm. I showed her the photos of the damaged bench, my voice trembling with rage. "This was Grandma's. Why would you destroy it?" She smirked, a flicker of defiance in her eyes. "Prove it," she said, brushing past me. Nora wasn't fazed by Karen's bravado. She dug deeper, uncovering Karen's history of petty disputes, complaints about neighbors' lawns, a lawsuit against a local bakery for false advertising over gluten-free muffins. But then came the twist that shifted everything. While Nora was reviewing Karen's social media, she found a post from a man named Derek, a drifter who'd been in Willow Creek months earlier. His comment on Karen's rant about park clutter read, "You're right, Karen. Those benches are an eyesore. I scratched one up for you last spring." My stomach churned. Had Karen inspired someone else to act, or was she covering her tracks? Nora tracked Derek down through a contact at the county shelter. He was a wiry man with haunted eyes, nursing a coffee at a diner 2 towns over. When we showed him the footage, he paled. "I didn't touch that bench," he said, his voice low. "I lied online to get Karen off my back. She kept hounding me to send a message about the park, but I never did it." He glanced nervously at the door. "She's not right in the head, you know. Obsessed with being in charge." His words sent a chill through me. Karen wasn't just a nuisance, she was dangerous. Armed with Derek's statement and the footage, Nora built a case. She filed charges for vandalism and requested a restraining order, citing Karen's pattern of harassment. The town buzzed with gossip as the story spread. At the hearing, Karen stood defiant, her lawyer arguing she'd been framed by jealous townsfolk. But Nora was relentless, presenting the footage, Derek's testimony, and even Karen's own posts railing against the bench. The judge's gavel fell like a hammer. Guilty. Karen was fined heavily and ordered to pay for the bench's restoration. The crowd murmured, some cheering, others shaking their heads. I thought justice would heal the ache in my chest. But it didn't. The bench was repaired, the plaque polished, but every time I sat there, I saw those scratches, felt the violation. Karen moved away, her house sold to a young couple who planted flowers in the yard. Willow Creek tried to move on, but I couldn't. I kept replaying her smirk, her utter lack of remorse. Nora noticed my withdrawal, urging me to let go. "Lila, you can't let her steal your peace," she said. But peace felt like a luxury I'd lost. Then came the final blow. A year later, I received a letter, no return address. Inside was a single page, typed and signed. "You think you won, but you didn't. That bench was just the start. Eleanor wasn't a saint, she took everything from me." My hands shook as I read it. Grandma had never mentioned enemies, but the letter hinted at a decades-old grudge, something about a business deal gone wrong in the 80s. I showed it to Nora, who ran the letter for prints but found nothing. "It's Karen," I whispered. Nora wasn't so sure. "Or someone she influenced," she said grimly. "Hate spreads like wildfire." I sat by the bench that night, the oak's branches swaying in the wind. Grandma's plaque gleamed under the moonlight, but the letter's words burned in my mind. Had she carried a secret all those years? Had her kindness masked a past I'd never known? The park was silent, the answers buried with her. I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, but all I could do was clutch the bench, my tears falling onto the wood. Justice had been served, but the cost was a wound that wouldn't heal. Karen's act had ripped open more than a plaquette, had torn apart my sense of who Grandma was, who I was. The town moved on, but I couldn't. The bench remained, a testament to love and loss, but also a reminder that some scars never fade. Every time I passed it, I saw Karen's smirk, Derek's haunted eyes, and that letter's chilling words. The truth was out there, somewhere, but it felt just out of reach, like a shadow in the park's twilight. ND.